Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the business meeting for the Provo City School District Board of Education. It is Tuesday, December 8th, 2020 at approximately 7:07 p.m. I am Jim Pedersen, Board President, and we will begin with a roll call for this meeting. Stephanie
Bryan, Business Administrator.
Jennifer Partridge, Board Member. Melanie Hall, Board Vice President.
Jim Pedersen, Board President.
Keith Rattel, Superintendent.
Rebecca Nielsen, Board Member.
McKay Jensen, Board Member.
Nate Bryson, Board Member.
And Julie Rash, member of the board, who is joining us via Zoom. We appreciate you all being here. A special welcome to those of our patrons who are with us, as well as members of the Leadership Council for the district. It is my privilege this evening to make a few opening remarks. And inasmuch as for me this is kind of a bittersweet meeting, it is my last meeting as a member of the Provo City School District Board of Education. And I admittedly have some mixed feelings. For the last 8 years, it's been my privilege to represent District 7. And it's been my privilege to work with a number of different members of the school board, as well as to work with the district administration, with Superintendent Rattel and those of his administrative cabinet. And I would name everyone, except I'm afraid I would miss someone. And as I thought about things, there were some things that I thought about of each one of the current board members that I really admire and appreciate. I really appreciate Jennifer's passion and concern for the students and patrons of our district and her constant advocacy for them. I appreciate Nate and his willingness to respond to patrons' questions and concerns, to critically evaluate and assess what we do as a board. I appreciate his willingness to take on some difficult challenges from time to time as he has advocated and voiced board positions. Thank you, Nate. I appreciate McKay and his vast knowledge of education's needs and opportunities at the national, state, and local levels. McKay, in my estimation, is almost a walking educational encyclopedia. And I think if there isn't an answer, it probably is because the question hasn't been asked yet and McKay hasn't researched it yet. But to McKay, I admire that and have appreciated very much our interaction together. I have learned a lot from you. Rebecca, I appreciate your ability to peel away the fluff and get down to the core issues that need to be discussed and addressed. And sometimes it's not easy. And sometimes you have to take a look at the ugly so that you can find the beautiful. So thank you for your willingness to do that. Melanie, I don't know if I have enough time to really express to Melanie the gratitude in my heart. She has been a marvelous vice president and has been a tremendous support to me as I have sought to fulfill my responsibilities. I appreciate in particular her ability to see issues from a variety of perspectives and to clearly articulate them. I appreciate again her support, her friendship, and probably most importantly, her willingness to give me a reality check when I've needed it and to kind of help me see things when I have maybe been a little tunnel visioned and have had the blinders on. And then Julie, and she's not with us. Julie and I actually came onto the board at the same time. And we've been through a lot of battles together. We've been on the top of the mountain, and we've been probably in the pits of despair at times. But I would like to express to Julie my gratitude for her being a great friend, confident, and a tireless supporter of absolutely every child in the district, especially those who are members of underserved populations. I have appreciated her willingness to be open to all possibilities, and especially when they may have required her deferring personal desires and wants because she could see the benefit for the greater whole. I have truly, truly appreciated that. I also want all the district leaders, employees that I have been fortunate to get to know over the last 8 years to know that each one of you have enriched my life. I have benefited personally and professionally as a result of our association, an opportunity to work together. Now, there was one more thing that I was interested in. 8 years is a long time to be involved in any type of service. And I would like to share with you some of the accomplishments of the last 8 years. But I want you to realize that these successes are not the result of any one board member, any one district administrator, but are the result of collaboration, compromise, creativity, community, and commitment among the members of the board, district administration, the district faculty, staff, patrons, and students, because it takes each one of those groups in order to have a successful school district that fulfills its mandates. Now, it may sound like I'm feeling or maybe inferring that we're perfect, but we're not. But we have done a lot of good things. Considering what we have accomplished in the past 8 years as a group, as a district, I stand in awe of the efforts that have been made. Some of the things that we have accomplished include the following. High school graduation rates have increased from below 70% to near 90%. And the superintendent, I think we exceeded that 90 last year at both Timpview and Provo High. And there has been a significant increase in graduation rates at Independence. District-wide ACT scores are now consistently above the state average. Student achievement in elementary schools is now measured and monitored consistently. Board meetings are respectful, efficient, and effective. School presentations to the board contain a well-organized data-based format which reports on past and present school performance, as well as future plans and challenges. As was mentioned in our study session, we are completing a revision of the board handbook. The board and district administration have developed and implemented 200 necessary policies with the accompanying procedures and forms to govern district operation. Principals receive training with district policies and how to implement those policies and share that with their faculties. Cost-saving measures have been implemented in the district. For example, energy costs have been reduced significantly, and Stephanie made mention of that in our study session. Food for meetings, lunches, banquets, and so forth has gone from expenditures of approximately $600,000 annually to $125,000 annually. Travel for students, faculty, staff, district administrators, and board members are now governed by specific district policies. There has been 1% in savings to the district's discretionary budget fund. Technology is now replaced on a data-based replacement cycle that allows us to more efficiently and effectively utilize those technology resources we have. The district now has a communications department to help in rolling out information and interacting with the public. Written employee evaluations are now being conducted and completed on an annual basis for all employees. District administrators regularly visit classrooms throughout the district and interact with the teachers and staff. The district runs a variety of communities, including faculty and administrators, addressing such areas as professional development, curriculum standards, curriculum selection, standards-based grading, teacher evaluation. There are improved relations between the Provo Education Association leaders and members of the district administration and board. We have implemented the Provo Way Award to help all district employees focus on creating a positive culture throughout the district. Representative of this effort are the development and implementation of defensible hiring practices, development and implementation of employee recognitions, better inclusion of employees in decisions that impact them. There is greater curricular equity throughout the district, east and west. Essential support services for students are better organized and administered. For example, the district now offers a social worker program for families in need. Additional health personnel have been provided in each school, and the district has hired a diversity and equity coordinator. The district has a written plan for building replacement that has been developed and is updated regularly. There are monthly reports to the board and from the Director of Facilities listing capital needs projects with associated costs and the progress that has been made on existing projects. The district has land banked for current and future district growth anticipated over the next 10 to 25 years. The district has received some significant recognition over the last 8 years and beyond. State and national awards for effectiveness, efficiency, and leadership for the district custodial program. I remember last year as we were taking a look at, well, actually it goes back to 2012 when I first came on the board. We had done an in-depth study of the condition of all the buildings in the district. And one of the comments that stood out in my mind was, as architects and builders and engineers went through, commenting about Dixon Middle School in particular, our oldest building in the district now, some 88 years old, they were very complimentary regarding the quality and condition of that building given the age of the facility. Great kudos should go out to our custodial and maintenance personnel. The Finance Department awards for transparency and budgeting accounting, and Stephanie, I don't know the GAAP and the GASB, but I would figure governmental accounting may be in there.
Yeah, those are accounting standards and accounting boards.
We have received the following rewards for our finance division. The Government Finance Officers Association Comprehensive Annual Finance Report Award has been received annually since 2003. The Association of School Business Officials Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, also received annually since 2003. The Government Finance Officers Association Meritorious Budget Award has been received annually since 2008 to 2017. And a couple of years ago, they had a change in requirements, and we have an application that is still pending there. The Association of School Business Officials Meritorious Budget Award received annually since 2008. And the Government Finance Officers Association Popular Annual Financial Report, which is a condensed version of the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, we have received that award annually since it was first implemented in 2012. We have financial planning policies and procedures that take into account the following items: employee compensation, curriculum purchases, technology needs. There is respectful collaboration during teacher collective bargaining, and as a board member, I have appreciated the constructive bargaining process that we have gone through in the last few years under the direction of Jason Cox, our deputy superintendent. We have standardized administrator pay scales regardless of gender, and we have data-based decision making that is occurring. We have now a district-run principal prep academy to develop district leaders from within the district. We have also developed a district improvement plan, which was implemented in 2015. There has been the development and implementation of the following AIM statement in 2014 to guide the district. Quote, every student will conclude each school year having met or exceeded the essential learning standards, fully prepared for the next grade or course. There has also been the development of a comprehensive written plan for the district addressing topics such as learning targets and standard-based grading principles. And finally, there's been the creation of a technology department to address the technology needs of the district, including a multi-year deal with Google Fiber to provide a minimum 10 gigabyte connectivity to all district schools. That is not everything we've achieved. That is just a representative sample of those things that we have been able to collectively achieve over the last 8 years. Now, have we arrived at perfection? As I said earlier, no. There's a lot more growth to yet take place. And so, as I will be stepping away from the board in January, as an individual, as a former board member, I invite the new board that will be seated and the new board members in particular to continue to build on the foundation of success and achievement which has been established. I would invite the board to keep foremost in mind in their work and service the needs of students, employees, and patrons. May each of you who continue in your service on the board, as well as in district council, have the wisdom, foresight, humility, and commitment to always do what is right, and especially when it is not the popular thing to do. May you strive for a spirit of unity, camaraderie, and may you find this, as I have, a most rewarding tenure of service. Thank you for indulging me and for those rather lengthy remarks. We will now be pleased to have the Pledge of Allegiance, and we will be led in that pledge by two students from Spring Creek Elementary School, Cora and Bram Raybuck. If you will both come forward and lead us.
Please stand. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bram and Cora, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what gives me great hope for the future of our nation. Thank you. We will now be pleased to have our employee recognition. And Jason, we would invite you forward.
Thank you, Board, for this opportunity to recognize our outstanding employees. And we have, again, a fantastic list of people that we would like to recognize. We do have some of them who are watching from home, and so I wanted to recognize those to begin with. We have Lisa Vizani and Laurie Hansen, who are both attending at home and joining us that way. Tonight with us we have Jason Richards, and I'd ask those who are here to stand. Jason, if you don't mind standing. And Idaline Gonzalez and Jenny Thurston. So we want to give them a round of applause. We have a video of the awards presentation, and after the video, we'd like to give you, the board, an opportunity to thank those in person tonight personally. So we'll go ahead and watch the video, and afterwards we'll allow you to give them that thanks.
Good morning and welcome to Spring Creek Elementary. We are here from the Celebration Committee to honor someone with the Provo Way Award. And right now we're going to do Jason Richards. So let's go into his classroom for a minute.
I hear that you are just a light to the school. You've been so helpful and they just love you. And so thank you for serving your students and for helping the whole school community. We really appreciate you. And we
I just wanted to say how much I appreciate the amazing work that you're doing working with kids and serving the students in after-school program. You show so much dedication and commitment to student success and are making such a huge impact on the lives of the kids that you serve, that I just wanted you to know how much I notice that and how much I appreciate it, and the work you're doing has such a high impact, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and Jason he steps in wherever we need him. And this year, we've needed him in a lot of spaces, and he does it willingly and so well. So we're just grateful he's at Spring Creek.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jason.
Well, good morning. Welcome to Spring Creek Elementary School. We're a few members of the Celebrations Committee here to honor one of our extraordinary teachers, Miss Lori Hanson, who teaches 5th grade. We're going to go surprise her with the Provo Way Award.
all that you do. I feel that you are just a fantastic teacher, well loved.
Pre-COVID, maybe. I don't know. We're working on it.
We appreciate all that you've done over the years, and especially during this year. I know it's a hard year, but I can see the joy in your eyes and how much you love these kids.
I love these
so
kids.
Thank
I
you.
really do.
Mrs. Hanson is energetic and enthusiastic in everything she does. She is dedicated to meeting students' academic, emotional, and temporal needs and works tirelessly to reach them. Mrs. Hanson's high standards and scaffolded approach has helped her set each of her students on the path to success, not only in her classroom, but in their future endeavors. She is an amazing colleague. She is a leader at our school. She builds up her coworkers with her positivity, humor, and compassion. We are so blessed to have her teaching and leading at our school. Congratulations.
Good morning, Provo. This is the Celebrations Committee. We're here at Provost Elementary, where we're going to surprise Idaline Gonzalez, the new head secretary here, with the Provo Way Award. All of the teachers are here behind me, and we're going to sneak in.
Board of Education, I want to thank you for all that you do here at Provost. And as a Provost parent myself, I know how well loved you are, that you have just been a light in our school for a long time. And I've heard from several teachers how excited they were when you became our new head secretary, that you are so well loved and you just make Provost a great place to be. So thank you for that.
Cami wishes she was here. Perhaps she's on Facebook Live watching this. But Eileen has been a part of this community for many years. She knows every student and every parent who comes through. She supports all of these teachers, and I think their presence here lets you understand how much they appreciate and value you. Thanks for all that you do.
Good morning and welcome to Provo High, the home of the Mighty Bulldogs. We are the Celebration Committee from Provo City School District, and we are here to give the Provo Way Award to Jenny Thurston. She's in her office on a Zoom meeting, so we're going to go and sneak up behind her.
Jenny, congratulations. And on behalf of the entire Board of Education, I want to thank you for all the work that you do here at Provo High and just making it a wonderful place to be. And I just know that you're dedicated, and we're so thankful for you.
Jenny is fantastic. She represents everything that's good about Provo High School. Compassion, support, hard work, diligence. She's fantastic. She supports our faculty and our staff. She supports our students. She's a great resource and support to our parents. And I can't think of a better quiet, strong leader than Jenny Thurston. Grateful to have her on the team.
Welcome back. We're at Centennial Middle School to celebrate the one and only Lisa Vizzani, Registrar Extraordinaire. She's right here inside her office, and we're going to sneak in and surprise her. Let's go.
Lisa, on behalf of the Board of Education, I want to thank you for all that you do here at Centennial. I know that you work hard. I hear you're a master at the schedule and helping help everything run smoothly here. So we thank you for all of your hard work. And
Lisa, you do so much for so many people here. As the welcoming face of the counseling office, students feel comfortable coming here. As a professional, we admire you, but as a parent, I have personal experience with how much you do for our students. They feel safe and welcome, sharing their highs and their lows, and it makes them willing to come and use the services here at Centennial. You solve problems for students and parents, and managed to do so much in your personal life on top of that, that we had to recognize you, and I couldn't not nominate somebody as wonderful as you.
Thank you.
I'm going to give you a hug.
give these very deserving recipients one more round of applause. Jason, we'd like to have you come up and allow the board to give you a thank you. So if you mind starting right over here.
Thank you. Appreciate you so much. Thanks for taking care of those bulldogs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking care of
Good
those
job, Jenny.
right there.
Well done. Good job.
Thank you so much, Jenny, for everything. Thank you.
Thank you, bud.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so
Great
much.
job.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Let's give one more round of applause for our award. We will now be pleased to have a school report from Principal Jill Franklin from Spring Creek Elementary.
Okay, so I'm super excited to be here, and I really wish that I could have brought all my kids with me because they do hard work, and they deserve a lot of the credit for what Spring Creek accomplishes. So I'm going to try to use this. Do I need to turn it on? It's on red. So yeah, it needs to be green, right? Usually that's what it means. Okay. Oops. Okay, so just a little bit about Spring Creek. Our enrollment currently, well, when I started this, because we change daily, that's our claim to fame, is you can never guess how many kids are at Spring Creek. So there's 415 right now. I just thought it would be interesting to know where we compare to last year. Last year in December of 2019, we were 436. So compared to some, I might not be looking that shabby, but new students to date, we have 78. And what I think is really interesting is that we usually have over 100 students. I was looking at May data from not last May, but the May before, and we had about 115 new students. And considering that we're only halfway through the year, I thought that was an interesting number, that we're already at 78 new students. And I asked the registrar, she said, yeah, we're usually over 100, somewhere between 100 and 120 for the year. So if we stay at that rate, we'll have more new students, and maybe I won't have to worry so much about not having enough kids. Maybe. Okay, and uh-oh. What did I do? Okay. Our demographics, we have a really diverse, we have a really diverse population. We're at 77% free and reduced lunch. It's hard to know right now what we really are because of the availability of food, which is so beneficial for my population. It's possible that that this is underreported currently. But our English language learners were at 50%, our special education students 16%, and then I broke down the race and ethnicity by percentage, but also by number of students, because I think it's pretty interesting to note how many actual students that percentage represents. And we love our diversity at Spring Creek. I chose a picture. This is an older picture because you need to see them without their masks. These are my kids, and I love them. I love who they are, and they're happy. They are happy while they are at Spring Creek, and they bring a lot of joy to us. Back in the day when we could sit side by side at the lunch table, they now sit 3 to a table. Just the joy that they bring to us. So I just wanted to bring a few of them with me. At Spring Creek, we're the Hawks, and we've been talking a lot about Hawks this year because Hawks are focused, strong, and adaptable, and we decided that we needed to be those 3 things this year more than ever. Focused, strong, and adaptable. And I have to talk myself into that most mornings, but if I can manage it and get to work, then the kids remind me that it's doable. These are our statements that we live by, that we are all connected. And I brought this idea to Spring Creek 6 years ago when I started as the principal there. And it comes from Martin Luther King, that we are all connected. What affects me affects you. And I can't be the best I can be until you're the best you can be. You can't be the best you can be until I'm the best I can be. And that we are part of this interrelated tapestry that is a beautiful thing. And we work on that together every day, all day. We believe at Spring Creek that we are leaders ascending to excellence, all of us. And our mission is to ensure that all students make continuous progress in a positive and engaging learning environment. And our motto is very simple: be kind, be safe, and be responsible. Let's see. Oh dear. You know what? I added a few slides, and I did it before 15 minutes before the meeting. They told me that I could. I'll go back here for just a minute. We have a couple of resources that we use at Spring Creek. And this year, we have 4 pillars of learning. And they are, let's see, I'm not going to be able to read my notes. Connection. We have found it is really hard in our current environment to develop connections in the traditional ways that we have before. So we've tried to look for other ways to create connections. One thing that we've done as part of our kindness initiative is we have set up pen pals for the kids at school. So they have a pen pal at their own school that they write to, that they encourage, that they try to get to know, that they send sweet notes to. And it's been a beautiful thing that we're super excited about. And through that, our teachers have also learned to make connections with families, with students in much different ways, through Canvas, through video feedback, all kinds of things that we weren't doing last year or even a few months ago. Our other one is, the next pillar is instruction and intervention. One thing at Spring Creek that you'll notice as I go through the slides is, well, in the past, I was relentless with instruction and focused learning targets, intervention, all of those things. This year I find my role a little different. I find my role more of caregiver, of cheerleader, of encourager, which I was before, but it probably looked a little different. But my teachers have stepped up in ways that you don't have enough time to hear about it. So invite me back and I will be happy to share that. Our third pillar is feedback, both to teachers, to students, to leaders. We believe in feedback because if we don't have feedback, we can't make improvements. And accountability. Those 4 pillars are what we're using this year. It's what I try to focus us around as we try to problem solve what we're doing. The children also have some learn tools that we have used for several years, and they are learn from your mistakes, everybody contributes, ask questions and accept challenges, reflect on and respond to feedback, and never give up. Those are the tools we encourage, that we enforce. We feel like they are the tools for life. And it's very interesting at my building, there will often be someone who will do something and someone will say, that's an example of how everyone contributes. And so even the adults in the building believe in these tools, that they are for our good. So in case you haven't heard, I think that this was highlighted at the last board meeting. Spring Creek was recognized as one of very few schools in the state for their exceptional work with English language learners. And I just really wanted to include this slide because not only did we meet the criteria, but if you'll look at Spring Creek's scores compared to state and district, we well exceeded them. Spring Creek is at 55%, district is 46, state is 44 for those that made adequate progress. And then if you look for those reaching proficiency, Spring Creek is at 11, district at 8, state at 6. So if it's not obvious, I'm a little proud of that hard work we do. We don't have English language learners that are a group. We believe that all students at Spring Creek are English language learners. When you come from some of the disadvantage that many of them come from, they all need English language instruction. So it's not a group they go to, it's the way we operate at Spring Creek. Every teacher in the building is an English language teacher. Also, this was the news release from KSL. And you'll notice that there were 19 schools recognized on the exemplary list. There's only 8, and Spring Creek reached exemplary status. So that's pretty cool. I also chose to represent my historic data in just a little bit different way because I think it's really interesting. So if you'll look at a green number in the first box of 2015, you can track that cohort of students. Knowing that I have 25 to 30% transient students, you still have a cohort of students. So the third graders in 2015 on their, let's just look at English language arts, scored 36%. If you look at them in fourth grade, they're still green. So going to 2016, you can see they moved up to 40%. In 2017, they moved to 59%. And in sixth grade, we sent them to Centennial with 70% proficiency in language arts. This is phenomenal for an at-risk school that in these years we were probably closer to 80% free and reduced lunch, somewhere between 80 and 87% in those years. And my teachers were able to get students believing that they could perform, and they did. Now, if you go back and you look, there's some places where we didn't quite see the same, but they'll recover because we look at this data not to beat ourselves up, but as feedback. Oh my goodness, this group of students, man, I had an example, you guys probably see one, maybe you can point it out, where they actually went down one year, like they were higher in third and then went lower in fourth or something. But when that happens, we look at that and we say, what resources do we have for these students that we can get them back up? And they usually recover to at least where they were or exceed it in the following year. Because we don't sit by and just say, oh, well, you know, we must have had a lot of new low kids. We look at it as feedback and we decide what we can do. Before I move, is there anything on this that you'd like to ask me about? Or do you have questions about the way I presented it? It's similar, it shows you each grade, each year, but I set it up so you could see the cohort, how they progress through the years. And one of the things we've noticed is that it sometimes takes our kids a little while, but they usually catch up and are exceeding or close to state and district standards by the time they move on. So points of pride, our progress, I have a couple of slides that I want to show for evidence of some comparable school reports. Another point of pride, we believe in the theories of visible learning and the professional development that the district has helped us implement. Another thing is we have created a reading and writing continuum that's based on state standards. We call them promises, and we really like that idea because teachers promise to teach the best way they know how, and they're going to do the very best they can. Students promise to do their very best to learn what they are supposed to learn, and parents promise to do the very best they can to help their kids practice. So when we think about these promises, it kind of motivates us to give it our all, to do our best. And everything that we work on, our tier 1, our tier 2, our tier 3, goes back to those continuums that help us. And we're super excited this year because the work of the math committee has now added that piece in, and we're trying to get good at using that as we have been with the reading and writing. We do believe in continuous progress for all, not just students. We believe it for support staff, for teachers, for leaders. We're all looking for what is our next best thing to work on. We love our PBIS and structures of support. The Learning Initiative has really helped us, and this is even before this year, increase the effectiveness of use in technology. I have an extremely supportive PTA. For a Title I school with the number of at-risk students, I have an extremely active PTA. They are above and beyond. And my after-school program, Academy, aligns itself with day school. It's not just a tack on. So the next 3 slides are just real quick. They are the comparable schools report, if you're not familiar with that. These are the 20 schools that are most comparable to Spring Creek. And this year, it's an interesting thing. Spring Creek kind of struggles to be at the top of the proficiency list at times, but we're pretty far out there above the schools that are most comparable to us. We're usually at the top of the progress list, and we weren't this year, so this was the year I went looking for some PD to try to help us with our language arts, and we participated in last year a very intensive PD for literacy through the University of Utah Reading Clinic, and it was really awesome, and we didn't get a lot of scores to be able to say what was the impact of that. But our beginning of the year DIBEL score is not that different than the beginning of the year before. So even with the pandemic, and we were like, at first we were like, great, does that mean they don't need us? And then as we evaluated maybe what contributed to that, we realized maybe it was because they had made such good progress before we went out using some of our new practices. With math, we're at the top of both lists, and with science, we're at the top of both lists. So Spring Creek does a really good job for the demographic that we have, for both proficiency and progress when you compare us to comparable schools. This is just a collage of all the people that make it happen. My leadership team, my specialties, they try to provide kids with really fun things. Just the other day, Jennifer was at my school and just happened to be there when our music class just decided impromptu to come down and do a little bell chiming concert for us in the foyer. And I have incredible specialty teachers that provide these kind of experiences, from my art to, we actually have a Native American that is my media specialist that provides all kinds of amazing cultural experiences for these children. So it's pretty awesome. I also have amazing social worker, custodian, front staff, health clerk, bus drivers. These are all people who contribute to what happens at Spring Creek. And so these are our challenges. These are not surprising to anyone. We're an at-risk population. We have students and families in crisis. We have a transient population. We have EL needs and deficits. We struggle for meaningful parent involvement. The location of our school in relation to where the students live. 5 buses bring students to Spring Creek Elementary. And there's only 400 kids, and they're pretty full buses. So a lot of kids ride the bus. The online engagement of students and our attendance has been extremely challenging this year, and the demand to provide quality instruction to students in whatever environment they may find themselves in, those are our challenges. We face them through targeted academic focus and interventions, clear intervention model. I am relentless in protecting our instructional time, providing quality PD, instilling collective efficacy, helping students just own behavior and learning, communication with parents, adequate and appropriate training for them. Focus on our extended learning programs is the same as day school, like I said before. It's not an add-on. It is very much a part of what we do. And I just want to end by saying thank you to so many people. I want to thank Teaching and Learning for the resources they've provided for us as we've tried to navigate this new system. for ourselves, I really want to thank technology and student services for providing students with devices and teachers with quality tools and those things and access for families. It has made us, even the attempt at what we do, possible. I'm also, I just want to close that I'm very close to a teacher who used to work for Provo School District. She now works for a different school district because she relocated farther north. And when she shares with me rooms without air conditioning in August, having to wear a mask and have 28 kids in her classroom, she shares she's not issued a laptop of any kind, not a Chromebook, not an old anything. She gets an old, out-of-date desktop computer with a Promethean board that shakes. She doesn't, and I want to also thank those who have been responsible for getting us additional student success coaches and behavior support. When she had a student who was being pretty threatening and she called for help and she was told, teachers in our district take care of that. And as I thought about her experience compared to what I know we have here in Provo, I was very grateful. I was very grateful for the support we get from the board, from the district council. It's really good. And I sometimes, it's really easy to get caught up in all the hard and all the, maybe the junk, and you forget all the good. So I just wanted to take the opportunity while you're all sitting here to thank you for what you do to try to support us. I think there's a lot of really hard decisions that have to be made this year. And I don't think any one of us probably want to be in any other person's place. We all kind of look at each other and think, well, I wouldn't want to be you. Or, good, you just keep going and I'll do mine. And I just want to say thank you. And I hope that you can see Spring Creek is an outlier in a lot of ways. And I'm super proud of the work we do, but I hope you feel that I know that it's not just me. It's a team of people that are willing to commit to the students of Provo, and especially those who maybe are a little more at risk than some others. So that's Spring Creek.
Thank you. I think board member Julie Rash has something she would like to say.
Hi, Julie.
She looks sad.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. As I'm listening to Jill tonight and the rest of the meeting, I'm on a little bit of a trip down memory lane, looking back to when my own boys started school at Sunset View. And Jill was part of a team with Anne Marie and with Michelle Aldridge. We've heard from all three of them tonight. They were an all-star team, and I'm really happy to know that they're all three still in this district, still contributing. You guys can see Jill Franklin is a fierce advocate for our students. I'm thrilled that she's at Spring Creek doing the work she's doing there. And Jill, I just want to say thank you personally, and thank you on behalf of the kids that you work so hard for. I appreciate hearing that passion in you.
Thank you, Julie. I've always appreciated your support.
Okay.
Principal Franklin, you've always been one of my favorite principals in the district because of your energy, and I am so happy that I get to talk about Spring Creek in state meetings and brag because you're at the top of the list, and that especially in English language proficiency. And I've been part of a group recently about equitable funding, and Spring Creek comes up a lot as a good example.
Good.
How do you know that you're spending? And I'm just so impressed with the culture, with the approach that you take, that your demographics are not a hindrance but a strength, and that and something to be proud of. And we are so very, very proud of that school and you. And I talk about your school a lot, and I'm so grateful for that.
Thank you.
Rebecca?
I just want to congratulate you on all the wonderful achievements at your school. It's clear that a lot of great things are happening there. And tell you thank you so much for the work you're doing. And will you please take a thank you back to your staff at your school for all the wonderful work that's going on there. And as a quick side note, I love, love, love the pen pals. That is fabulous, and what a great thing to do.
I just want to echo what Julie said about passion. I can totally see it coming out and through this presentation. I know that you love what you do and you love those kids. So thank you for everything you've done.
I'll add my thanks, and thank you to your staff and faculty as well. I had the opportunity to talk with Jill earlier this last week, and she was telling me about how dedicated her teachers are and how much time they are putting into making sure that they're instructing all their students, and just countless hours, and they're doing it with love. And one of the teachers we went and surprised this last week, she made me cry as she told us later some of the things she's doing to help her students have a wonderful Christmas, and we just appreciate your whole school, so please tell them that. Thank you.
I will.
Any other comment or questions? Principal Franklin, thank you for the wonderful job you're doing.
Good job, Jill. Thank you. Thank you, Keith.
We have now reached the point in our business meeting where it will be time for public input. I have received forms from 5 individuals who would like to address the board. If there's anyone else who would like to address the board, we have forms over here to your left. If you would get one of those forms, fill it out and take it over to Bonnie. She will then log in the pertinent information and get me a copy so we can have you address the board. You will each receive 3 minutes to address the board with your comments and concerns. I would first invite Jessica Tyre to come up and address the board. If you would please just state your name.
Yeah, of course. My name is Jessie Tyre. I'm a Provo High School teacher. I've taught at Provo High for 6 years, and I've been involved with the Gay Straight Alliance Club for 5 of those years. I'm the head advisor this year, and that's the main reason I'm here today. I wrote out my notes because I knew I'd get nervous, even though I stand in front of people all day. I wanted to come to be a voice for the LGBTQ students and in our district. These students have shared their intense struggles, with me, and I take my role as their advocate extremely seriously. For many of you, these students are vague and maybe nondescript, but for me, they're not just an LGBTQ student in our district. They're an individual. They have their own sense of humor, their own interests, their own dreams for their future. Similar to me, a large part of your job is to speak for those who don't have a voice in our district. And our LGBTQ students epitomize the students without a voice. These students don't feel safe to speak for themselves because many of them are at risk for ostracization, humiliation, and often self-harm, potentially leading to suicide. The gender inclusion policy discussed earlier this evening that I was here for is a huge, massive step in the right direction for our district. It'll take a step towards a longer and much needed discussion in our district about how to support the social and emotional well-being of our diverse and at-risk students. It is imperative for LGBTQ students to feel safe at school, safe to express themselves, safe to use the bathroom where they feel the most comfortable, safe from not having their dead name plastered on the board when there's a new seating chart in class, and safe from, most of all, bullying and humiliation. This policy will allow for future dialogue to occur amongst the leaders who can create that safe environment within our district. I encourage you strongly to consider the message that passing this policy sends to our at-risk students and to our community at large. This policy has the potential to offer meaningful support, and as much as it may sound like an overstatement, this policy truly has the potential to save lives. I know these kids. I've taught them for years, and they're watching you. we have discussions about this at GSA, and they're keeping tabs on this. So I just wanted to come and represent them. I appreciate you guys so much, and for everyone in our district who's worked for this policy. And those kids are the reason I'm here today. So I just wanted to include their passion and my passion for them at today's meeting. So thank you.
Jesse, thank you for taking the time to be with us and share your feelings this evening. We will next be pleased to hear from Anne Marie Snow. At least I presume that was her last name. Is Anne Marie still here? Coming right now? Anne Marie? Anne Marie, we would invite you to come forward and address the board. Please state your name for us.
Okay, apologies. I had some issues with my car, so I had to leave for a quick second. So I have just a very quick thing to say. Emma that has more of the important things to say today. But I just want to address, thank you so much at first for at least trying to figure out how to deal with schools, especially big high schools, because it is a mess and there's so many angles you can look at it. So thank you for trying to do what you can. But there are a lot of issues that I think a lot of you might not see because you're not in the schools. I'm trying to think of specific examples. Today in class, I see many people just wearing their masks like this the whole time, and it's very frustrating and hard because there's no social distancing. Usually I'm probably about this far from other students, which is very uncomfortable since I have a high risk father and brother, and it's just very hard because a lot of teachers allow the students to not wear masks. And there's a lot of I'm trying to think of a specific word that you would say for it. It's not propaganda, obviously, but it's more of speaking about their personal views on masks and promoting hanging out and saying it's okay. And so it's very stressful to watch big groups of kids who don't wear masks go into cars after. And there was a teacher from one of the Riverton schools. I'm fairly sure that they got shut down recently. Is that correct? The Riverton school, that's not in Provo District. I'm not sure if you guys know about that. But she was talking about that same issue, and that was what triggered their high influx of schools getting COVID and a lot of cases. And so basically I feel there's a lot that's happening that you guys don't see. And so if we are going to go into phase 2, there needs to be more implementations of better precautions and such, because there's just genuinely not in the schools, and it's very frustrating. And so what I would pose for that, I would say, would be we need better ventilation. If there's going to be over 2,000 kids in the school at once, many schools and teachers have their doors closed during class, and so all we have is AC, and it's very poor AC, it's an old building since I go to Timpview, which is okay, but with pandemic, not such. So if we were able to have some fans either in the halls or keep doors open, or we just need to have social distancing. And I wasn't really planning on speaking, so I did not plan as much to say, but those are some things that I very much have experienced myself and stressed me out and many of my family members. And that is all I have to say. So thank you.
Anne Marie, thank you for taking the time to be here, and thank you for sharing with us the students' perspective. We appreciate that. It informs the board about feelings of an important group. Thank you. Emma Teasdale.
Okay, my name is Emma Teasdale, and I'm a senior at Timpview High School, and I'm here on behalf of my peers who your decisions directly impact. The majority of students have expressed concern for their well-beings as well as their families based on the decision to move our secondary schools into phase 2. Students have expressed concerns regarding the inability to practice social distancing guidelines and the rising cases while in the phase 2 schedule. CDC studies have shown that masks only block about 50 to 70% of respiratory particles. Therefore, the masks themselves are not effective enough without social distancing guidelines being practiced. In my nearing 4 years at Timpview High School, class sizes are roughly between 50 and 30 students. It is impossible to practice proper social distancing when all 2,600 of our students are at the school at once. We've seen a trend for months in COVID-19 cases. They skyrocket 2 weeks after every holiday. The last attempt to move into phase 2, as well as this one, have both followed major holidays. and therefore this guarantees an increase in the amount of contagious students that you are now forcing to be in a confined space closer to each other. Aside from the lack of social distancing in phase 2, we've already seen in phase 1 a lack of enforcement regarding sanitation and mask wearing. Many students walk around with their masks off or half off, sneezing and coughing on each other. Many teachers don't wipe down desks before or after classes, and many don't enforce the mask wearing policy, as Annie stated before. Above all, we have friends and family members who need us and who will not be okay if they catch the virus. This is a major concern that many of us have, as we have a lot of high-risk family members. Many of us are afraid to walk into our own homes after attending classes. We're afraid that we'll infect our high-risk family members and cause bigger problems. Before we move into phase 2, we want to see change. We want to see numbers and change in consideration and empathy for the students of the Provo City School District. The school board has made no noticeable changes since the last time we tried to move to phase 2. It wouldn't surprise me if more cases showed up today due to the fact that it is later than it is 2 weeks after a holiday, and the numbers have shown repeatedly that numbers go off after that. I want to go back to normal. Everybody wants to go back to normal. I want to have my senior prom and my senior homecoming, but my priorities are not there. They're with the well-being of my friends, my family, and our community. So thank you.
Emma, thank you very much. Thank you for presenting very well your position and for the apparent research that you did in preparing for this evening. Thank you. We would now like to hear from Kimberly House.
My name is Kimberly House. I am a parent in the Provo School District. I'm also the parent of a transgender child who will be directly affected by your approval of policy 3300 tonight. I also have the privilege of being the chairperson this year for the Provo City School District LGBTQ Equity and Diversity Committee. That committee only came into existence last year. My child came out as transgender last year. I have learned a lot since then. Education is the key. We need to educate our teachers. All of you should have received a letter that I sent you today with, now we have over 180 signatures on it, and that's within 3 to 4 days. This needs to happen. Comments I get when I bring it up are, I didn't even realize this was a thing. When I asked for my child to use preferred names at school, I was told no, because we're comfortable with how things are. So as I pushed forward, my child was the first one to be allowed to use a preferred name at school, starting the beginning of this calendar year, 2020. Probably the only thing good that happened this year. It makes a difference. And to not see these children, these kids, I've had to hospitalize my child twice. They are at high risk. We are losing them, and they need to be seen. And this policy needs to be passed so that procedures can be put into place to protect our kids. And until this policy is passed, you tie the hands of our superintendent to put these policies and these procedures in place. So on behalf of all the people who have signed this letter, and myself and many more, all the LGBTQ employees and students and people in this community, I encourage you to approve this policy tonight because it is long overdue. Thank you.
Kimberly, thank you for taking the time to share with us this important concern for a group of students that often fly under the radar. We will now be pleased to hear from Andres Rich.
Hello, my name is Andres Rich. I'm a senior at Timpview. So when I heard about the change to phase 2, I thought it foolish. I understand that we all want to go back to normal. I want to go back to normal, and I understand one of the reasons why the decision was made was because students' grades are suffering, and I am not an exception. It's hard to find the motivation to teach ourselves and to learn online and to find the motivation to do everything online, and the teachers have been a great support. And when I heard about this decision, I thought, well, I want to know what the students want to think. So I created a snowball survey, and I tried to get as many voices as I could, and to see what the students, what their voices were on the matter. And I got 183 responses. I think the majority of them are students. 90% of them are students. Are from Timpview, because that's where I go. But I found that 66%, so that's 121 students, don't agree with this change. I also asked a few questions about how many people this directly affects a lot and how many people have high-risk members in their house. And I discovered that 55% of the responses of people responding said that they have high-risk members at the house, which is a big factor to having double the amount of people. And as Emma mentioned, it's a much tighter space. There's not a lot of good social distancing. Lots of students are poking their nose out, and it's not well done. And another thing that I discovered is I wanted to know if what they wanted exactly. And the majority of them said phase 1 works well. Even though our grades are suffering, phase 1 is safer for everyone. Phase 1 is safer for our loved ones. I asked for people's additional thoughts at the end, and someone said that a couple people have mentioned that they've had family members die from COVID, and that this is a bit ridiculous that we are going to phase 2 currently after a major holiday. And another thing that I discovered was around 25% of households actually within the school district have had COVID or currently have COVID. And that goes hand in hand with what we see in the states of testing. 25% is positive. And so one last thing I want to mention is this is definitely screwing the switching, flip-flopping back and forth is screwing up all of the student schedules and extracurricular activities, and it's affecting everyone. And we all want to go back to normal, but currently phase 2 could possibly wait till term 3. So thank you.
Thank you, Andre, and thank you for the time and effort you went to in gathering that information and taking the time to share that with us. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board? Seeing none, I will close public input. And again, let me express to you the appreciation of the board in your taking time to be here, in your preparation, and in your sharing with us your heartfelt concerns about the needs of the students in the district and possible solutions that you see that can help us provide a better quality education and safeguard every student. Thank you. We will move into the business portion of our meeting now. The first item we have up for approval on our agenda is policy 3300. And Doug, is there anything additional you would like to maybe take just a minute or so and give us a brief recap? And we had a good discussion and study session, so.
Yeah, thank you, and I again appreciate that the great candor and sincerity that the board has approached this policy, and I appreciate the community and student and family advocates who have spoken this evening too with great passion about the need. I think it even answered perhaps the question as to what is the difference between having a policy and not. To have heard some of them express specifically how having a policy will impact their feeling of being seen and heard and valued within our school, and know that those protections are in place for a very vulnerable population. So again, with great sincerity and appreciation for those that have guided us in developing this policy, I present it to the board tonight for their approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion by the board to approve?
Tim, I recommend we approve new policy 3300, gender inclusive schools.
Motion by Board Member Jensen. Is there a second?
I second that.
Second by Board Member Partridge. Is there any additional discussion by the board on the motion to approve policy 3300?
I just want to reiterate some of what we already said in study session for those who weren't here to hear that. But I feel it's important policy. I'm glad that we are doing this. All of our students need to feel seen and known, and everyone needs to be treated with respect and dignity, and I'm glad we're putting a policy to do that. So.
If there is no further discussion, all in favor of approving policy 3300, please indicate with aye.
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 Aye. Julie? Julie is aye. The motion passes unanimously. Item B.
Yes. Aye. Miss signaling Bonnie.
On delay.
Item B, approval of the budget requests and adjustments. Stephanie, is there anything you would like to just highlight for us here quickly?
Sure, just any adjustments to the budget over 50,000 need to come before the board to be approved. These are for mostly new grants or finalizing grants that we didn't have final numbers for earlier in the year.
Is there a motion to approve the budget requests and adjustments?
I move we approve the budget and adjustments as discussed in the study session.
Motion by Board Member Hall. Is there a second?
I second it.
Second by Board Member Bryson. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Seeing no further discussion.
Is there a second? I second it. Second by Board Member Bryson. Is there any further discussion on the motion?
Voices from heaven. Or maybe not heaven. Anyway, I will call the question. All in favor, please indicate with aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The same. Julie?
I think Julie prefers watching.
Julie is an aye. So the motion passes unanimously. Is there a motion for the large purchase requests?
I move we approve the large purchase requests for Chromebook replacements in the amount of $82,000 and the purchase of ELL software in the amount of $110,000.
Motion by Board Member Nielsen. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Board Member Hall. Is there any further discussion on the large purchase requests? Seeing none, all in favor, please indicate with aye.
Aye.
Aye. We'll wait for a minute for Julie. Julie is an aye. The motion passes unanimously. Is there a motion to approve the Sex Education Committee membership?
I recommend that we approve the Sex Education Committee membership.
Motion by Board Member Bryson. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Board Member Jensen. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing no discussion, all in favor, please indicate with aye.
Aye.
Aye. We'll wait for just a minute for Julie's. Julie votes aye. The motion passes unanimously. In our board meeting, we had some discussion about whether we were at a point where we felt comfortable approving the board handbook with the understanding that there will be some additional discussion in February, and that there would certainly be opportunities for additional revision. By approving the board handbook, we would have something in place that has been updated, and we would be ready for new members joining the board to have some guidance and direction. Is there a motion to approve the revised board handbook?
I move that we approve the board handbook.
Motion by Board Member Nielsen. Is there a second?
I second that.
Second by Board Member Partridge. Is there any additional discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve the board handbook that has been revised, indicate with aye.
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 Aye. Any nay? The motion passes unanimously, and Julie got in ahead. That was great.
And we have a few minor edits, just not content, but just minor edits we will make before we send that out.
Thank you, Keith. In our study session, I did not hear any thing that would indicate a need to make any motions for COVID plan changes. I think we're probably where we need to be right now, pending additional information that will come into the safety committee. And so I am going to withdraw that item as an action item this evening. That takes us on to the consent calendar. As discussed in the study session, is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I move we approve the consent calendar.
Motion by Board Member Nielsen. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Board Member Jensen. Any further discussion on the consent calendar? Seeing none, all in favor of approval of the consent calendar, please indicate with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously, as Board Member Rash also voted to approve. We will now be pleased to have a board member report by Vice President Melanie Hall.
I have been so impressed with many of the schools that during this challenging time. I was able to go to visit Rock Canyon, and the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade wanted to give their students an opportunity that they might make it more memorable for them because they're not able to do the regular things they're able to do. They created an entire Harry Potter scene amongst all the classrooms and in the hallways. It included floating candles. Mind you, they were paper, they were safe. There was a phoenix, a sorting hat. It was just I love the ambiance that they created for these kids and a memory that they're gonna remember that 2020 wasn't all bad. So the board notices these things of what they're doing. I also went and visited at Centennial Middle School, and I'm impressed by how they're managing the phase 2 with their extra lunches that they've had to add, their traffic flow, the things that are going on there. They also showed me the 2 new rooms that they've implemented this year. They have one for the students where if they're feeling overwhelmed and they need to go decompress, they can go do that. And I'm really impressed with this at that school. They also have one for teachers if they just need a 5-minute break, you know, during someplace that they feel is safe. I'm grateful for the administration teams of this district that I can tell that they're really caring about their employees and students. I also went to Timpview High School and walked around and met with many teachers there. This was during phase 1. I'm impressed with what they were doing there. I'm planning on going and visiting during phase 2 as well. This next part's hard for me, so bear with me if I get through this. Jim and Julie, I wish you were here, but due to the nature of COVID, she is in quarantine at the moment, just so you know that she would have loved to have been here for her last meeting. But I am so grateful for the opportunity to have worked with these 2 individuals. They are both so caring and hardworking and incredible advocates for students. We all appreciate the 8 years of dedication and service that you did for our district. Your time on the board will not be forgotten. You mentioned earlier, Jim, all the things that have happened in 8 years, and that was a pretty big list, so thank you. I'm proud to both call you a colleague, but more importantly, a friend. We wish you all the best on your next endeavors. Julie, I'll bring it to your house.
Thank you very much, Melanie and board. You know, I have a tender heart, and I cannot express in words what my time of service has meant. Superintendent, your report.
Okay, I have no student travel to report. I just did get one today. I still have to review it, so that'll be on the January agenda. Miscellaneous item, I would draw your attention to the walls on both sides of this room. And Caleb Price, I'll have you come up and tell everybody what this is all about.
So a couple months ago, I think beginning of October, we were in my department kind of brainstorming ways we can work with our community, with the city, with our schools to kind of have everybody work together to make everything safer with mask wearing, social distancing, all those things. Around that same time, we were approached by PEA, President Bailey Danielson, with kind of thinking about the same thing. And so we came up with this idea of an art contest throughout the district. And then working with Bailey and working with Chris Roberts, the fine arts instructional coach, we came up with the idea to have this art contest throughout our schools and give different prompts to different grade levels and ask them to create art that can be used to kind of show why we're doing or asking people to do the things that we're asking them to do. So you'll see around the room, they were split K2, 3rd, 4, 5, 6, and then secondary schools. They were each given a different prompt. We communicated with principals and art teachers, and in some cases just classroom teachers. What this prompt was, we provided funds for them to purchase art supplies to do these art projects, and then we were able to go around and judge them. And I think there's three elementary school posters, and then most of the secondary school posters we're going to turn into posters that we can use in our schools, we can provide to the city, whoever wants them, to kind of see kids saying this is why we do the things that we're doing. And so we have them displayed here. There's one from a 3rd grade class at Canyon Crest along this hallway here, for everybody here to see.
And thank you, Caleb. And I would invite everybody who's here to take a look at them before you depart tonight. And the only other thing I would say is, Julie and Jim, thank you so much for all of your support and service. And to our 2 new board members, welcome aboard.
Thank you, Superintendent.
I have a question. When do they take the oath of office?
At our January meeting.
But you are aware they become school members on the 4th. Their term begins.
Say that again?
That by law, they become the school board on the 4th. So welcome aboard. So that your term begins the 1st Monday of January. So that's when you are officially a board member. So thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Jensen. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn this meeting.
We are adjourned. Thank you all for being here.